Hey, welcome to Tiny Class. This episode we're talking about I Spy Anxiety. You're going to learn the signs anxiety is about to hit so you'll know what to look out for. My name is Emily Green and I'm an online therapist and couples coach over at branchoutonline.com. Any links that I use in session, don't worry about having to write them down or remember. You'll find them below in the show notes. So how to spot anxiety. You're about to learn the signs that anxiety is about to hit. So if you catch these, you'll have a good clue and a way to fight back against it. But first, let's look at why knowing the signs, why knowing them is so important. When it comes to anxiety, it has this nasty way of taking away all your power. So knowing the signs to look out for will allow you to do a couple of things. One, it will allow you to either stop it from advancing, or it will actually allow you to lessen its intensity and cut the duration up to as much as you can. So when you're talking about something as powerful as anxiety, if you're able to avoid it altogether, or you're able to control it by decreasing its intensity and how long it lasts, those are all really good things to have in your toolkit. So let's look at how to first start even spying the signs of anxiety. So I call this the first line of defense, and it's by building up your body awareness. So what do I mean by body awareness? And why is this the first line of defense? Because wouldn't you think you'd start in your head, because it's kind of where anxiety lives, you know? Well, that's exactly why you don't want to start there. Anxiety does have this way of completely taking over your thoughts. And in a previous tiny class, we looked at kind of how thoughts start everything from any positive emotion you experience to any negative, such as anxiety. So why would you want to get out of your head? Because this is going to allow you to create what I call some inner wiggle room so you can gain control and keep gaining footing to leverage against anxiety. So let's look at what I mean. Here's a series of questions that you're going to ask yourself to help you up your body awareness, get out of your head, and take back control. So one little side note is notice the types of questions that you're seeing here. They're all about identifying observations. So it's not about evaluating and putting a judgment on anything. This is going to allow you to get more and more out of your head, distance yourself from that feeling that anxiety just brings on, and it's going to give you more personal power to stop anxiety because you see it coming, and those are all good things. So let's start with number one. What body sensations do you notice? So just ask yourself, what's going on in my body? What sensations do I notice? So how to do this best is through a body scan. So it's from head to toe, or you can start from toe to head. It's whatever you feel comfortable with. So when you're doing a body scan, you're really just looking and noticing those different sensations you experience. Here's a list of some things you might find while doing your own body scan. You might find that your heart is racing really quick. You might notice like, wow, man, my skin feels really warm to the touch. You might notice that your hands are clammy, that you're more sweaty than usual. You might even notice as you're doing your body scan that your hands are shaking a little bit, or you might even notice this overall trembling to your body. Another biggie for a lot of people is you notice the muscle tension. For some, they're going to notice that there's these primary locations where their muscles get tense. And the probably most, I won't say most popular, but most common place is in the shoulders, or an achy feeling, kind of like a headache, could be the start of one, right between your eyes. So those are some of those bodily sensations that you can easily just identify. Now, how is this helpful to you? Because these are actually physiological and physical symptoms or signs that anxiety is coming. And as you begin to recognize these, you're going to identify anxiety a lot sooner than later. And the sooner you identify it, the more likely you'll be able to stop it or completely reduce how severe it is or how long it lasts. So, another powerful question to ask yourself that all has to do with still we're in body awareness is, what's your breath like? So what's your breathing? Is it quick, rapid breaths, shallow breathing, or is it deep inhale and exhales? So most likely when anxiety is hitting, it's going to be the former. So you're going to notice really quick, more like panting kind of breaths, like, and sorry, I didn't mean to be creepy there with the breaths, but I do think examples are really helpful, versus the long inhale, exhales, like, so breathing is actually, here's just a quick little trick you can use. You can use your breath as a powerful pushback or pivot point against anxiety. If you notice just something as simple as, hey man, my breathing is really quick, rapid, shallow, you can counter and push back against anxiety with your breathing technique. And that's by beginning very slow, relaxed breathing. And you don't have to worry about counting or anything. Just find a good rhythm that fits for you and allow that to continue. Your breath is connected to your heart rate and just your overall sense of being. So it's a really quick and powerful tool you can use to immediately dial down the anxiety if it's coming on strong. So let's move on to the next one. So now we're going to move from body awareness to your emotional experience. So again, you're going to notice with this, we're looking at what, not how. And this is all about just being an observer. There's no value statements or no judgments. So simply just ask yourself, what feelings do you have? Now, these are some common signs that anxiety is coming if you happen to feel nervous, restless, you feel really tense, kind of on edge, or you have this overall sense of doom. So if these are any feelings you happen to identify, it's a good sign that anxiety is on its way. The next question to ask is, what's your energy level? So if you ask yourself what your energy level is and you notice that, man, I'm feeling really weak and tired, kind of groggy even, my energy levels feel real depleted, these are other signs that anxiety is coming. So now, sticking back to the mind, we're going more inside the head. And it's okay because you're creating more and more wiggle room with all of this awareness building, from your body to your emotional experience to the actual thoughts you're having. And as you do that, it creates it more, I don't want to say safe, but I guess a more sense of control you can have when you're looking at the mind and in your thoughts. Because as we learn in a future tiny class, their thoughts in your mind are really where emotions are born from. So when you're starting with anxiety and you're noticing it, that's why it's safer and just a smarter way of starting with the body experiences and then slowly moving into the emotions and then the thinking. So by this point, since you've already done your body scan, you're already recognizing some of those big feelers that can be signs that anxiety is coming, you're right on track for going now more into the mind. Okay, so doing that, let's look at your concentration. So what's your concentration like? Some key signs that anxiety is coming or is already there is if your mind feels like it's racing around or if it's going in circles. You might be having problems focusing. These are all some of those big indicators that anxiety is well on its way. Another one, which is more kind of a behavioral look, you're looking at your sleep. So we're not looking at your body. We're not looking at your thoughts or your feelings. We're looking at behavior. So anxiety, it has such this overarching reach is because it impacts so many things. It impacts not only how you feel about yourself, kind of like how you're doing, it impacts how you interrelate to people, but it also impacts your behaviors, from if you're snappy with others to even your sleep. So sleep is actually a really big indicator when it comes to a lot of our emotional experiences. It's kind of like a good place to check in. So just asking yourself what's your sleep like can help you indicate some more signs, uncover them, that anxiety is something that's coming or you're struggling with. So if you notice that your sleep is worse, so you're either sleeping less, for some people, you might even be sleeping more, which might sound strange because I think the most general or most common impact on sleep is less sleep. But for some people, they're able to fall asleep and then they just want to continue sleeping so they don't have to face that anxiety. So for some people, they do actually experience more sleep. Even if you are getting less or more, no matter how much, you might be waking up and feeling completely tired, so unrested. Now, sleep, obviously, it's very much tied to your levels of energy. And when it comes to anxiety-driven sleep, that's why even if you're getting more, you very well may still feel like your energy levels are depleted. A lot of times with your sleep too, when you're dealing with anxiety, a sign of it is that you have a hard time falling asleep, because for a lot of people, right when bedtime is there, that's when their mind begins racing and the thoughts begin, and then the emotion takes over, and then anxiety is in full force. So this is why sleep is a really big indicator of anxiety is coming, some signs of it. And then also, surprise, surprise, is it's a good place you can push back too. And you're going to get a freebie here in a second to actually help you do just that. Couple more questions. So here we're really getting to the heart of the matter. So you're asking yourself, what's your thoughts like? Now for this, some indicators that anxiety is coming or is well on its way is any kind of black and white thinking. It might be all over the place. Again, kind of like your mind's racing, your thoughts are going in and out, or it can be those just very kind of extreme thoughts. So when we talk about black and white thinking in the field of psychology, we refer to this as that all or nothing thinking. So everything's either good or it's completely awful, kind of those things. And these are really good signs that anxiety is coming, it's building, or it's just something you're dealing with. So those are the questions that will really help you get a handle on and of identifying the signs and your unique symptoms of anxiety, and then from that you can actually work to tame your anxiety. So I know I mentioned the freebie that you can get. The freebie is a 5-day anxiety journal challenge. Like I said, anxiety really hits a lot of people as soon as they lay down. And it can be really, really frustrating because you're so tired or you're just so worn out from your day and your anxiety. You just know you need sleep, but sleep can be like just so out of reach. Well, I created this journal for you, which will allow you to implement the power of writing to help you take back and push back against anxiety. So it's to take your time back in your emotional well-being. So here's just a little glimpse, and I lead you through in another tiny class, the ABCDE method of a way to actually, in the moment, even when you're in bed, go ahead and work against it to change your anxiety into a positive emotion. So it's just a little glimpse at day 1, and it goes through 5 days. So that's for you, and you can get the link below. So I just really encourage you, if you're dealing with anxiety, to really use this as a way to help you learn what your unique signs of anxiety are. The more you know that and you're aware of it, you'll more easily spy it or spot it as it's coming up, and you can address it then and attack it and tame it with some of these exercises that I've been teaching you. If you haven't already done so, go check out the ABCDE method. It's a way to tame your anxiety, and some of the other goodies on here too. And don't forget to go grab your anxiety journal and let us know how your 5-day challenge goes.